Hey there, pirates! Welcome aboard the Anime No Mi channel. Zoro is close to achieving his dream, but he will face an enemy who keeps their true powers a secret. What we didn't expect is that the author of One Piece himself would suggest the perfect devil fruit for Zoro, and that's what we'll discuss in today's video. I hope for your support to help our crew win, and to do so, you just need to click the thumbs up button, leave a like, and subscribe to the channel. By doing this, you will win an incredible devil fruit, so just comment which fruit you want. Guys, thinking about which devil fruits would fit perfectly with Roronoa Zoro is a fascinating exercise, especially when considering not only his skill as a swordsman, but also the personality that defines each choice of his swords. Throughout the series, it's natural to imagine how a fruit could further amplify Zoro's potential, given that he has always been portrayed as someone who relies on his strength, training, and the way of the Bushido rather than external powers. However, what if there were a fruit that could align with his ideals and enhance his techniques simultaneously? The answer to that may not be as simple as it seems, starting with the official idea mentioned in the SBS, where Eiichiro Oda himself suggested that the ideal fruit for Zoro would be the Uo no Mi Seiryu model, Kaido's fruit. This, of course, opens up endless possibilities for speculation. The Uo no Mi is a mythical Zoan that allows its user to transform into an oriental dragon and a hybrid form, both associated with a vast arsenal of devastating abilities. We can imagine how Zoro, as a master swordsman, would use these powers not only to increase his resilience and combat ability, but also to channel draconic powers into his swords. Perhaps he could coat his blades with flames or lightning energy, something not too far from what Kaido does. On the other hand, Zoro might prefer not to take on a monstrous form, choosing instead to integrate the fruit's more utilitarian aspects into his fighting style. Chapters like 1010 and 1035 offer great insight into how Zoro could apply something like this, especially considering his advancements in using Haoshoku Haki. When he uses Ashura against Kaido, it's as if Zoro already emulates a nearly supernatural aspect, creating the illusion of multiple arms and swords. With a fruit like the Uo no Mi, this could be taken to another level, potentially creating even more destructive forms or manipulating the environment to complement his three-sword style. Furthermore, it's intriguing to reflect on how Zoro's swords could interact with the fruit's powers. One of them is Enma, a blade that already has an almost living nature, requiring absolute control of the user's haki to unleash its full potential. If Zoro could imbue Enma with draconic abilities, perhaps creating fire blasts or energy dragons emanating from his strikes, it would add another layer of power and symbolism to his fights. It would bring him even closer to the demon concept he often emulates in battle. If we continue exploring possibilities for devil fruits that would be amazing in Zoro's hands, we expand not only the imagination surrounding what he could do, but also how these fruits could perfectly align with the swordsman's style and philosophy. The fascinating thing about imagining Zoro acquiring a devil fruit is considering how it would add new dimensions to his combat without taking away the essence of his discipline, technique, and sheer determination. So, while we consider the dragon fruit mentioned earlier, let's analyze other possibilities that might elevate his Santoryu style to unseen heights. After all, who knows what surprises await Zoro in the future? One fruit that immediately comes to mind, still within the mythological realm, is a fruit related to the concept of the god of war. The Hito no Mi Ares model would be an intriguing idea. Ares is associated with the brutality of combat, the chaos of battle, and the warrior's fervor. Imagine Zoro embodying these characteristics, not only gaining a power that amplifies his strength and resilience, but also affecting the environment around him. Perhaps the fruit could create an area where everyone feels the weight of battle, an aura that inspires courage in allies and fear in enemies. Zoro wouldn't need to abandon his swords. On the contrary, he could channel this aura to strengthen his slashing attacks. Who knows? This fruit could be introduced in a flashback involving Elbaf, given that the giants with their warrior culture might have a connection to such an emblematic power. Another option would be to explore nature, perhaps something like the Moku no Mi, smoker's fruit, or a different model that offers control over a specific element. A wind-based fruit would be particularly fascinating, allowing Zoro to manipulate airflows to create even more devastating long-range attacks. Imagine Zoro not only slicing through the air, but completely mastering wind currents. He could envelop his swords in tornadoes, creating attacks capable of destroying entire fleets, something that aligns with the level of destruction he aims to master. Perhaps this kind of fruit could be found on some mysterious island, maybe in an arc involving aerial adventures, as a continuation of what we saw in Skypiea. Still thinking about natural elements, a rock or magma fruit could be an extremely powerful option. The Ishi no Mi, as seen with Pika, is an example, but imagine a variant that allows Zoro to infuse his swords with the density of minerals, or even manipulate earth fragments in combat. He could create additional swords made of rock to complement his attacks, or reinforce his blades with an almost indestructible hardness. If the rock were ebony or some legendary material from the One Piece world, the fruit could carry even more significance. Perhaps such a fruit would be found in Elbaf, a region known for its colossal mountain formations. Who knows? Now, if we delve into something more abstract yet equally exciting, we could consider the Toki Toki no Mi, the time fruit. Perhaps, in a twist, there could be a variant that allows short-term manipulations of the temporal flow, like accelerating his reflexes or slowing down his opponent's movements. Zoro, already known for his quick reactions and precision, could take these qualities to an absolutely surreal level. He could create attacks that seem to strike the enemy at multiple moments simultaneously or move so fast that opponents wouldn't have time to react. Such a power would make him an incredibly unpredictable fighter and undoubtedly enhance his impact on battles. Another possibility that could be incredible is the Umi Umi no Mi, a fictional fruit that would grant its user the ability to manipulate water, something that at first glance seems to go against the rules of the One Piece universe, given that Devil Fruit users lose their strength in water. However, imagine a fruit that doesn't allow its user to touch water, but instead control it from a distance. Zoro could use his sword to slice through waves or even manipulate the water around the ship, creating barriers or attacks that confuse enemies. This fruit could emerge as an ancient artifact, safeguarded by a tribe or character who recognizes Zoro's potential to master it. What if we expanded further into mythological fruits? A fruit connecting Zoro to a legendary figure from Japanese culture would be fascinating. For example, a Hito Hito no Mi model Susanoo, inspired by the Japanese god of storms in the sea. Susanoo is famously associated with the legendary sword Kusanagi, directly linking to Zoro's path as a swordsman. Such a fruit could grant Zoro the power to summon storms or manipulate lightning during combat, further enhancing his reputation as a fearsome warrior. Over time, Zoro might even manifest a spiritual armor akin to the Susanoo concept from Naruto, but adapted to the logic of the One Piece world. This fruit could have a historical connection to the legendary samurai Ryuma, adding extra depth to Zoro's storyline. Lastly, something even more intriguing would be a fruit that alters perception, perhaps a Maho Maho no Mi, illusion fruit, allowing Zoro to create deceptive visions to confuse his enemies. He could make it appear as if multiple Zoros are attacking simultaneously or manipulate spatial perception to disorient his opponents. This fruit could tie into the theme of the Shusui sword, which carries a mystical and revered aura among samurai. For someone like Zoro, who values strength and technique, this power wouldn't be seen as a trick, but as an extension of his tactical skills, demonstrating that even in chaos, he remains a master of precision. However, this isn't the only option. Another possibility would involve Zoro consuming a completely different fruit, such as a Logia type, perhaps a fruit that allows control over wind or storms, something that complements his fast and destructive fighting style. The wind could be used to increase the range of his attacks, creating a literal storm of slashes that devastates his opponents. Chapters 937 and 955 highlight how destructive Zoro can be when using his Santoryu technique in combination with Haki, so adding the power of a Logia would make his offenses even more overwhelming. Who knows, he might use the wind to enhance his mobility, turning himself into an even more unpredictable fighter. Another idea would be a fruit that indirectly complements Zoro's spirit but remains significant. A Zoan-type fruit, like the Hebi Hebi no Mi model Yamada no Orochi, could bring an interesting dimension to his character. This specific model is based on the legendary 8-headed monster from Japanese mythology and could be used to create a truly unique fighting style. Zoro could manipulate each head as if it were an extra sword, pushing his offensive capacity to an unprecedented level. This would also create an intriguing symmetry with his Ashura technique, where he appears to have multiple arms and swords. That said, perhaps Zoro wouldn't need to consume a fruit to harness its powers. Considering his strong connection to the swords he wields, it's plausible that he could use a devil fruit as a complement to his blades, something already shown as possible in the One Piece universe. For example, Chapter 1004 suggests that objects can consume devil fruits, like Spandam's sword Funkfried, which ate the Zuzu no Mi. If one of Zoro's swords, such as the Sandai Kitetsu or Wado Ichimonji, were to consume the Uo Uo no Mi model Seiryu, it could become a truly legendary weapon. This would allow Zoro to benefit from the power of a fruit without compromising his philosophy of combat. That was today's content. We hope you liked it and want to share your opinion on the subject. Don't forget to share the video, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care and stay amazing.